Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey, will teach you everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks, welcome. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio. FM 96.1 AM 1170, The Answer. This show is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to the Gun Range San Diego. Find out what we found out. It's the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. Well, we got Mr. Schwartz in the house. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
And Lance Pelkey, the man of the hour.
And a big shout out to our buddy Larry Renner in beautiful Pahrump, Nevada.
Is Larry listening?
Always.
Oh, hey, Larry.
We got a huge listening base all over the world.
Yes, we do.
Cool. So what do we got going up first?
Mikey.
So it's very, very interesting thing. I thought we'd talk about it. The Log Cabin Republicans is a group of LGBT Republicans. And they came out the end of last week. The Log Cabin Republicans endorsed Donald Trump for the 2020 election, and they did not endorse him the last time around, and made statements that, hey, he's doing a good job. He's lived up to all his commitments. So I thought what we'd do is hear more about that from our own Gina Roberts, who is the president of the local chapter of the Log Cabin Republicans, and to talk to us more about this endorsement.
Hey, Gina.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Great.
What's up? What you got?
Well, I'm out here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, after heading to Pahrump, too. So, hi, Larry Renner.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
So, Gina, you are of course, a founding board member of San Diego County Gun Owners, which I'm always appreciative of all the hard work you do to support the Second Amendment. But you are also the president of the local Log Cabin Republicans. Can you tell everybody just a little bit, just give a little bit better explanation of the Log Cabin Republicans than I did?
Okay, well, you did a good job. Basically, the Log Cabin Republicans is a group of LGBT people that are more of the conservative bent, identifying with the Republican and the GOP party. There's local kind of chapters, state chapter or state organization, and a national organization, and the endorsement came from the national organization with input from all of the local and state chapters.
Excellent.
So
you guys organize the LGBT Republican community here in San Diego, and the national chapter does and organizes people nationwide, right?
That is correct. And, generally they set policy, and I mean, we could, especially on national elections, we are not authorized as a local chapter to do endorsements at the national level. Even people like, 50th Congressional District, that all comes through the national chapter. It's a lot like San Diego County Gun Owners. We concentrate on local elections and things, and we're in the process. I'm trying to get a meeting together for the end of August to get everything kicked off again for the 2020 election season.
Nice. Now, the national organization, Log Cabin Republicans, came out and endorsed Trump for the 2020 election. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about that. They didn't endorse him, a few years ago when he ran originally, but they are endorsing him now. What can you tell us about why?
Well, the biggest reason is that in 2016, he was saying a lot of the right things. He said, he'd support the LGBT community. There's a lot of people that, think that he is not backing the LGBT community very well. However, most of them are the liberal media that we've all had problems, especially the gun world, with. Every time that they make if you look at it's especially poignant now when you look at how all of the LGBT media is responding to our endorsement statement. It's, oh no, are you crazy? I mean, they're really blatantly, obviously unpleasant. So and it reinforces once again why I would be a person to support that. But basically, Trump came out and said he was going to, support the LGBT community. There's some issues that there are, like with trans people in the military, and that is stated actually in our endorsement letter that the chair and the vice chair of the national organization co-wrote with Charles Moran, who's our national spokesman, and basically says that, he's appointed 3 gay guys to really, really important jobs in the administration. Probably the most important ambassador is Rick Grinnell, who's ambassador to Germany. And knowing Rick fairly well and talking to him about the whole employment process, he said that his gayness, his LGBT, his sexual orientation didn't even come up in the conversations. Of course, they probably knew it already, but, the president didn't care about that. And what he was looking for was good, solid people that could carry his message. And Rick Grinnell is basically not just the ambassador to Germany. He's the ambassador to the entire EU. You never hear about the French ambassador or the ambassador to France or the ambassador to Germany or to Belgium. You always hear about Rick Grinnell. Now, the president has also embarked on a worldwide decriminalization of sexual orientation laws, and has embarked on a.
I saw that before you go any further. So he did. I can't remember if it was Trump or the administration or both were vocal about the idea of anti-LGBT laws in other countries and trying to reach out to these other countries. And I don't know if he was going to try to force change or just talk about change, but that was something I've never heard a president do before.
And neither have I. And he made it a very important prerogative, and Rick Grinnell is running it very conveniently because a lot of those countries are in Eastern Europe and Middle Eastern countries, basically where it's okay to throw gay people off the top of rooftops because of their sexual orientation. So the president has, the administration itself, and whether the president actually kick that off, or if it was, the staff, it is being run by Rick Grinnell, and he had a huge gathering of representatives from a lot of the countries where LGBT people are not welcomed with open arms, and it was so far it's. He's got all the right people working on the problem. He's also got the HIV/AIDS crisis intervention thing going on. He made a great deal with some of the drug companies to get huge supplies of the PrEP, the anti-HIV medicines that LGBT people are at highest risk for getting. And so when we didn't endorse him in 2016, it was kind of our statement was basically trust but verify. And, it was being that Trump had no voting record, being that he had no, history.
Right. No track record to hang a hat on. Yeah.
Right. Kind of what we have, and the same problem we have with endorsing people and local level and, the gun world, they just don't have a record.
Yeah, what they say and what they do can be two different things. So Trump has been a friend to the Second Amendment community. I definitely, the rhetoric from him is a 180-degree difference from Obama. Some of the policies that he's passed, 180-degree difference from Obama and most past presidents. But he's done a couple of things, that are making a couple of weird things that are making gun owners nervous, and understandably. But I did want you to come on and talk about the endorsement, because I think it's an important thing to do. I mean, obviously, one of the things people talk about a lot with Trump is he's appointing judges that are hopefully, if not extremely pro Second Amendment, at least not as anti Second Amendment as so many judges that we come up against. But one last thing, we got about a minute, Gina. Okay. They said in the statement that he had lived up to some of the things. It lived up to some of the expectations and some of his commitments. And I wonder if you could talk about that. Is there a couple of specific, or at least one specific policy, or what do you think they meant by that?
Well, I think the biggest thing was that they were really excited about his support of the two things I've talked about already, and the fact that he's made a very big deal about appointing LGBT people, regardless of what their sexual orientation is, to very high level appointments, and that was probably the biggest thing that got our attention, and we appreciate. And we are all for appointing constitutionalist judges. So, there's some issues with the laws affecting LGBT people. I think there's some work to be done on both sides of the aisle on that. And I don't think Trump is closed-minded to do anything about that. So personally, I appreciate the endorsement.
There you go.
Thank you, Gina.
We sure appreciate everything you do, Gina. All right, hey, folks.
Guys, have a great day.
Thanks. Keep listening.
Bye-bye.
I don't care where you're at. Hey, up next, the break. It's attorney John Dillon from Gun Laws in California. And I know he's got good news this time. He promises me.
Yes, he does.
On FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Hey, this segment is brought to you by... Oh, wait. You've heard us tell you about how easy it is to install a Cali key. That's what I was going to talk about. And how it makes your AR rifle California legal in recognition of the recent gun law changes. Those law changes can put the unknowing owner of an AR-15 or 10 on the wrong side of a jail door. Don't be that guy. So if you want to keep it safe, you need to get a Cali key. They're cost-effective, easy to install, and they will future-proof all your ARs from those horrible new laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford at Cali Key. That's K-A-L-I-K-E-Y, K-A-L-I-K-E-Y.com. And while you're at it, got an extra $10 laying around? Well, let me tell you what, if you have a taser, pepper spray, any kind of a firearm, and a police officer pulls you over and you don't have all the proper paperwork, like a CCW, you could be in serious trouble. But for $10 a month, actually less than $10 a month, you and your family could be protected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with firearmslegal.com. Firearmslegal.com. They're amazing for less than $10. 469-310-9100. Don't be reactive, be proactive. All right, we got Gatsky, Dillon, and Balance LLP. We got the infamous John Dillon. You can go to cafirearmslaw.com, or if you want to give him a call Monday through Friday, 760-431-9501. I was going to say 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But then I don't think he'd talk to me for a few more days. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
You're answering the phone, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the 24/7, but I do have my phone on me a lot of times.
It feels like 24/7.
I know, it does. I mean, and I think that's a problem we all have, is we take these silly phones to bed with them. What a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, well, you were right, though. I do have some pretty good and exciting news for you.
Really?
For
what do you got?
Yeah, and I know Michael here, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But on Thursday, using San Diego County gun owners as one of the named plaintiffs in the case, we filed a federal lawsuit in the Southern District of California against the California Attorney General, challenging some of the assault weapon provisions under California law.
Yay.
So,
Congrats. Yeah. Congratulations.
We're taking on the state. I'm working with a great, incredibly smart attorney, George Lee, from the Sealer Epstein law firm. And so we're working together with the plaintiffs to challenge these unconstitutional laws. So basically, what we're challenging here is we have the assault weapon prohibitions, and they have the bullet button assault weapons that required registration. Now, if you changed your gun and changed the components to where it was a fixed magazine rifle or pistol, it was not considered an assault weapon. And, so that's fine and dandy. The plaintiffs in this case all have non-assault weapons with fixed magazines. The plaintiffs also have lawfully acquired, lawfully owned, and possessed high-capacity magazines, so magazines that hold over 10 rounds. And recently we had a decision or an order out of the Southern District from Judge Benitez that stated that these magazines are protected by the Second Amendment, and it's unconstitutional to prohibit possession of them. So you have these plaintiffs here, they have lawful rifle and they have a lawful magazine. Now, the problem being is under the assault weapon provisions here, if they took that, lawful gun and they took that lawful magazine and they put it together and used the magazine and the gun, they've now created an illegal, scary assault weapon under California law, and they've become felons. It's a felony criminal charges just by sticking your lawfully owned magazine into your lawfully owned gun. And it's an absurd, proposition, like completely, inherent in the right to own and possess these magazines and these guns is the right to use them. So we're challenging that part of the law, and I think we got a pretty good argument on our hands. I
think you have an excellent argument, and I'm so happy that you're doing this case, John, and I'm really excited about the possibilities going forward. My favorite term, Lance and I both agree.
Yep.
That this part, you mind if I read it, Lance?
Please do. I was looking for it.
So this piece is so perfectly stated.
Eloquent.
From the filing, the term assault weapon is a politically concocted... let me start over. The term assault weapon is a politically concocted pejorative term for weapons lawfully used in virtually every state. I don't think anything better sums up the case than that statement, and it's so true, and I can't thank you enough. So awesome.
On that point, just real quick, because you're bringing it up, these are commonly used firearms. They're all over the place. Everyone owns them.
Right.
Even the state of California, in previous court cases, they've admitted that there's at least 1.5 million registered bullet button assault weapons, right? So that's 1.5 million registered bullet button assault weapons. Those weapons are only a fraction of what's out there when it comes to, the AR-15 style and, other variants. The guns we're talking about in this case are not considered assault weapons, but they're the same platform as the bullet button assault weapon. And on top of that, you also have featureless rifles. So there's two other categories of firearms that are in California beyond the 1.5 million registered assault weapons that are essentially the same gun except for some plastic features. So we are talking about millions upon millions of guns that are commonly owned and used all throughout California and all across this country. I mean, in California alone, we're probably in the tens of millions at this point. So it's an absurdity to claim that these aren't in common use. People use them every day for self-defense, hunting, target shooting, competition, all sorts of stuff.
Well, you have a lawfully owned firearm that doesn't act, significantly different than any other firearm. I mean, it doesn't spit fire or, launch grenades or anything. We're not even talking about fully automatic firearms. It acts in the same manner as every other legal firearm out there, and you put a constitutionally protected, part into this legally owned and normally functioning firearm, and all of a sudden you're a felon. I mean, it's the way you have explained it, the way you filed the case. It's crystal clear, and I just don't know how they're going to argue against it.
It really is.
Yeah, and this is the thing the state does. They like to just go off the deep end with, their descriptions about how deadly these guns are. Well, let's be real. All guns are deadly. These guns are no more deadly than any other gun that's been around for about 100 years. I have a gun that I got from my grandfather that he bought in 1920. And the gun not only is semi-automatic, it also has detachable magazines, and the bullet is way, way bigger than anything that gets shot out of an AR-15. And no one has a problem with that because it has a wood stock. And that's about the only reason why. And so when you really look at this, the state's reasoning and people who are against these guns, it's because they're ignorant or they're deliberately lying to you. These are not, overly dangerous guns that are rare. These are commonly used guns that have a legitimate purpose in self-defense and regular use for everyday purposes.
Well, I actually had a conversation with a local reporter about it. It was talking about a different story, and I said, hey, your station keeps using the term assault style weapon, and that's a completely and totally meaningless term, and I was basically making the same case, that the lawsuit is making, and the reporter got back to me and said, well, the colleagues around here spoke, and they said that it's okay to call it assault style if it's semi-automatic. And I said, no, that would include pistols. That would include some shotguns. They're certainly not assault style. And it's really amazing. So that's one of the, minor things. One of the, I don't know if it's minor or major. It's one of the things I do is when I'm talking to, media. Anybody, but especially media, use the right terms at the very least.
Their homework.
No.
Because it's a scare tactic.
Yes,
it's a pejorative term, just like you guys stated,
and it makes
John.
you, if you're walking through the house and you hear assault, you'll stop, turn, and listen or watch whatever that came out of.
Don't use their words. And we've been saying that for a long time. Don't use their words.
But here's the other side of that. Now, the anti-gun folks are basically trying to expand what people think of as an assault weapon to anything that's semi-automatic. So it's kind of, it's working against us on both sides. It's two sides of the same horrible coin.
That's the idea. That's their aim. That's their goal. Great job, by the way, John. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh, so exciting.
So did you win?
Well, me and George,
did you win yet?
Work hard for you guys.
Did you win yet?
What is the timeline, John? What do you think a timeline is on this? Because I'm going to get that question every day of my life for the next, I don't know how many months. What is the timeline, do you think?
It's months and months. These things are not, fast-moving, unfortunately. But me and George, we're going to be working diligently and very hard to keep things moving and progressing as fast as we possibly can. But a lot of it depends on the court system and when they schedule the hearings, and if it's far off, we may try to move to get better dates. But unfortunately, there's no quick and easy fix when you have to resort to filing a lawsuit. So that's why it's important to get the right people in office so you don't even have to do these challenges.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. So don't sit back on your laurels, everybody. It's we still have to be involved. I potentially, John, this could take years.
Yeah, and most every Second Amendment case, regardless of whether you win or lose at the district court level or the lower court level, it gets appealed. So if the plaintiffs lose, they appeal. If the state loses, they appeal. So it always goes, at the very least, to the Court of Appeals. It can go to en banc, decisions and those panels, and then it can get kicked up to U.S. Supreme Court, petition for hearing from them. All of that takes an incredible amount of time and effort, and truly, the litigation is the last resort. I'd rather just have the right people in office that don't pass these BS laws.
Exactly. Thank you so much, John. Awesome job. And thank you to everybody for supporting San Diego County gun owners and supporting all of us. Because, without this level of organization and without everything we're doing, this wouldn't be possible. So we're going after them on every angle. And, thanks, John, and thanks, George Lee, when you talk to him next.
Of course.
All right, buddy. Be safe. We'll talk to you down the road. All right, folks, this is Gun Sports Radio. We're going to take a quick break. This is FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
You're not getting paid.
It's awesome.
You are not getting paid. Hey, folks, you heard us talk to you about how easy it is to install a Cali key and how it makes your AR rifle California legal in recognition of the new gun laws. Those laws can put the unknowing owner of an AR-15 or 10 on the wrong side of a jail door. If you want your AR to keep its pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those horrible new California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact with Cali Key, K-A-L-I-K-E-Y, K-A-L-I-K-E-Y.com.
Real quick, I just want to interrupt real quick. Ascanio from Cali Key actually contacted me over the weekend and congratulated us on this lawsuit and is so excited about this lawsuit. Just to put that into a little bit of context, if we win, if the lawsuit wins, Cali Key will they'll lose a lot of customers, right? Because it's a way to comply with the assault weapons law that we're trying to get rid of. You would think he'd be in favor of the law staying, but absolutely not. He's a true patriot. He's a true friend. And just wanted to say thank you, Ascanio from Cali Key. Appreciate your commitment.
Fabulous. And also, in recognition of the lawsuit, so we've got Casey on the line, but Casey's going to be talking about all this, featureless stuff and fixed magazines and all this wacky stuff we have to do because of the wacky California laws. And hopefully one of these days we could just, all be normal again. Casey, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How you guys all holding up?
Good, man. I was over at the gun range the other day, man. Yesterday around this time, you guys are just smoking over there.
Yeah, it's today has been very, very busy. We've had a couple groups come in, like 12 people or more wanting to shoot. So we've been accommodating everybody as quick as we can. So we're thankful for everybody's patience, and everything's just running smooth.
Yeah, I gotcha. And so you heard about the lawsuit. We've been talking about it on the show, and it's been all around. Yeah. Facebook and everything, and it's just been fabulous.
Well, I have one tiny question on that lawsuit. We're the only, John and Lee are the only two lawyers that are doing this?
They're the only, they're the two leads, yeah.
Wouldn't you think this should have been happening a while back?
Well, we needed the magazine decision that just came out. So that magazine decision was just a couple of, this is built on that decision. So,
so you were just waiting for enough rocks to be stacked up before you decide they need to be moved.
That's a good way of putting it.
There you go.
Yeah. Looking at it like that, when that magazine overturn did happen, it kind of shed light on it. You know what? This isn't a bad thing. Nothing bad has happened about it because we have standard capacity mags now. So, yeah, it's just that kick in the door that we've been waiting for.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. A kick in the door.
Yep. Once the thing starts rolling, and people start realizing and understanding, the worst thing is you see the media, and you always go on there, and every single week some politician's going on there saying, a 30-round assault clip sniper rifle, and you're just like, what are you talking about? Like, you have no idea what you're talking about, and you're trying to sound educated. All you're doing is fear-mongering. And people buy into it. You see all the posters and stuff that people do at protests, like this assault weapon shoots 30,000 bullets in a second. It's like you don't know what you're talking about. Let us educate you. That's what we're here for.
Well, let's face it. They love running in the whole fear mongering thing with it's a snowflake narrative. It's that whole snowflake narrative. It's that that nice little lady who thinks that the world all should be great, but she wants to be an activist now and's got to vote, and they're all feeding into that deal, and it makes for news for some reason. So anyway,
and it all fed into this stuff because and when we look at our rifles, that's just fear mongering itself. Like every time I look at a featureless rifle, it's just because somebody got scared and they think, ooh, a pistol grip's going to help me this person kill somebody better, or a flash hider is going to hide you from the police when you're shooting at somebody, or something like that. And they're just not true. These things just make it dangerous for me to hold it, and it comes down to the fact: what criminal is going to follow these laws?
That's the question I want to ask in Sacramento.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's like all these laws, all these gun bans, and all the the roster program, and all this stuff that's going on there. Criminals don't follow laws, so you keep making these laws that literally have zero effect on it. And it's been proven to have zero effect, but no, they don't want to listen to the common peasants like the rest of us.
Why don't we ask them continually, what are you going to do about taking the guns away from the criminals? We know what you're going to do to take guns away from us. We got that. You made that perfectly clear. But nobody, maybe I'm in a closet, but I don't see anybody asking that question.
No, and you know what they'll say is like, oh, well, we have comprehensive background checks. Yes, you know, we do have background checks, but they're probably talking about the 4473 form, which everybody has to fill out, you know, to buy a firearm. It says on there, are you a convicted felon? That's probably what their gun control measure is. Oh, no, we're stopping felons because we have a little check in the box on a piece of paper. It's like these people aren't going to come in here to get to a gun store. I mean, some have in the past and tried it, and we're just like, well, you're dumb, but that's okay. The ATF can deal with you now. But none of this stuff is actually, in a realistic sense, going to stop anything. You know, with the grip wraps and, you know, the non-flash hiders, because none of it makes sense. And then you have your fixed magazine rifles, you know, and that's, you know, and the lawsuit that's going over with the assault weapon ban and whatnot. Because, yeah, you have a legally owned rifle. Yes, it's a fixed magazine, but the instant you put a legally owned standard capacity magazine in it, it's an assault weapon. How? That, you know, and that's what it's just none of it
That's
makes
exactly
sense.
what the lawsuit's based on. You have a constitutionally protected piece of a firearm going into a legally owned, normally operating, you know, non-exotic firearm, basic firearm that shoots a bullet just like every other firearm. More powerful than some, far less powerful than many, and all of a sudden you're a felon for putting this constitutionally protected part into a legal. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. In the meantime, 45 people are dying in Chicago again, you know, over the weekend. Just with illegal
we're not
guns.
talking about that.
Oh, can't talk about that, right? Can't include that in the mass shooting deal.
Come on, we can't talk
we're
about
ranting today, aren't we? All right, so
yeah, it's you know, and then you go over to the featureless side about it. If you run a featureless rifle, you can, if you have your legally owned standard capacity magazines, you can use that, but you can't in the fixed magazine rifle. But they're the same thing, same rifle, just different on it. Makes so much sense.
You know, and just real quick, you know, the other side uses these words to try and paint people or paint things the way they want to paint them so they can get rid of them, whatever the case may be. When you get a chance, look up the definition of propaganda, because it's propaganda is the spreading of rumors, false or correct information, or an idea in order to influence the opinion of society. And that's exactly what's happening. They come up with these words, and we say, like you did, don't use those words. You know, standard capacity instead of high capacity, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I catch myself when, you know, when people are talking. That's, you know, that's what we do most of the time here. If people come in, it's like, hey, can you explain to me the laws on AR-15s? We're gladly to do that. That's what we're here for. And we kind of educate them on understanding how dumb it is. But then when we go in there and I catch myself, I'm like, yeah, you can get your standard capacity magazines, just the normal ones. You don't say high cap because it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's a standard magazine. Just ours are neutered out here for the most part. So it's just It's just dealing with it on a daily basis. You know, when our rifles on our range, we run them all featureless just because it's easier that way for newer shooters to get used to it for the most part. You know, that's the downside of those fixed mags that I have noticed is, yeah, you get to keep all your features, but anytime you have a malfunction in an AR, you're kind of screwed for the most part. And I'm going in there the other day, a guy had a round in the chamber, a double feed with a brass over bolt.
Yikes.
And so that one.
Tell everybody what brass over bolt means.
The brass over bolt.
Wait, now that's a question.
What's that?
So basically, the brass over bolt, it can fix itself above the bolt face inside the chamber. It happens a number of ways, but when it happens, your gun's pretty much a dead gun until you can try to mortar it on the ground, get that out, try to get some pliers in there. I spent a good 30 minutes trying to fix this guy's gun, and I finally got it up and running. And that's, you know, one of the negative sides of having a fixed mag is if you do have malfunctions, you can't get your magazine out until the bolt's forward. So you have to fix your malfunction first, get the bolt forward, drop the mag, and then, or separate the upper and lower, then drop your mag, and then clear whatever obstruction else is. But, you know, to each their own. That's something I always tell people is like, look, you know, if you do have a malfunction, it's going to be a little bit more technical to get used to it, you know, to fix it. But hey, that's the nature of the beast, and that's you becoming familiar with your weapon system. And the same thing can happen with featureless rifles. I've seen double feed, stuff like that. It's just a little bit easier to clear because you have the ability just to drop that mag out right away and then get your fingers up through the mag wheel and trying to get all that out.
Man, all the stuff we have to do just because we live in Cali.
Yeah.
Exactly, you know, and it just brings it back down to just like, you know, how long are we just going to keep putting up with this, and how long are they just going to, you know, keep putting the normal law-abiding citizen, the ones that are being punished for something that had nothing to do with us.
Right.
We're being punished simply because I own a firearm, and I'm being punished for that because I want a constitution. And, you know, I heard something about San Jose they're trying to require firearm owners to get liability insurance.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord, how far down this rabbit hole are we going to go?
Well, we're stopping them here in San Diego, with the lawsuit.
I hope so,
Yeah, San Diego County gun owners, tell those people to walk up, to your counter, hey, San Diego County gun owners, join up for your $10, you make a difference, and then help fight with the suit and other ones that we need to make these guys go away. Kick them in the teeth.
That's right.
Yeah, we have the assault weapon lawsuit that y'all are doing, then they have the one still going through with the raising the age of 21, then the ammo background checks, all this stuff. It's I hope it just goes in our favor, and we're just crossing our fingers, and as much support as you can give to the firearm community, please do it, because we need it out here.
Yep.
Amen.
I have my friends come in town from Texas, and I show them my rifle, and they're just disgusted at it because they're like, "What is this?"
You know what?
Like,
they should join San Diego County gun owners also, because it'll be coming their way.
Oh, absolutely. California's always been the test state for everything, with the real IDs and all this stuff. And if other states don't think it'll come towards them, it will.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a
send
safe
us the
space.
money now and the members.
Exactly. This is something that
Stop it here.
Chop it off. It just got to cut it off right now, because if it spreads, it's just it won't stop. It'll be a wildfire. But luckily, hopefully, we can keep it contained here in California and bring us back.
I gotcha. And then for featureless, do you have anything on sale or something you like on your floor today?
Yeah, we actually got a bunch of new grip fins in. They're not Kydex ones. They're actually a one-piece pistol grip.
Okay.
They're by Strike Industries. They're $14.
Yahoo!
So if you want a grip fin, we got them here. We have plenty of compensators, actually good compensators by Surefire. They're $39, and you get that's the one I run on all my ARs, just because one, it's not the loudest ones out there, but it helps keep that gun extremely flat shooting. We do have the Magpul fixed stocks, which I tend to like too, because they're a little bit shorter than your normal length of poles one. So we have everything in here. If people want to run featureless or fixed mag, we have the Juggernaut tactical systems, we have the comp mags, we have everything in here. And if people just want to come in here and just look at their options, that is what we're here for. We have multiple guns over here on the sale side that are demo guns that we have all these different systems on, so people can actually check them out and figure out what route they want to go.
And you're open till what time tonight?
10 to 10 every single day.
All right, what's that website?
San Diego County, the Gun Range San Diego.
Gun Range San Diego.
Love your show, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care. All right, folks.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you very much, Casey.
You're listening to FM 96 AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
I'm Dave.
Oh, God. You guys are getting out of control.
See, you can't leave us alone.
Oh, my God.
Is that it, Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with the answer dance.
Yeah.
Do a little-
so
there
much
you go.
fun.
Because we're eventually going to go live.
You got to see what we do during the break.
You don't want to see
don't
it.
wanna know it.
You don't want to see it. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or weapon for personal protection? Well, do you have a CCW? Well, if you don't, guess what's going to happen when you get pulled over? You're going to jail. But for less than $10 a month, we got folks that'll hook you up. Firearms Legal Protection. We're all protected. Why wouldn't you? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You might even get John Dillon. You're going to get the cream of the crop through Firearms Legal Protection. Go to www.firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com, or you can call them direct if you don't have a computer, 469-310-9100. That's firearmslegal.com. You guys gave away the question we could have asked Sam.
Yeah. Which one? What was it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? All right. Well, that's okay. We got a good one.
You got a good one?
We got a good one.
Hey, Sam, how's it going, buddy?
Fantastic. How are you, gentlemen?
So, is it warm back there?
Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 99 tomorrow. Almost feels like California, except with about 50 times the humidity.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine does radio with me, and he lives in Maryland. And he says, it is so hot. He said the paint is just literally dripping off the cars.
Just
That's
sticky.
Nice.
Just sticky. Just go take, if you want to know what it's like, if you live here in San Diego and you want to know what it's like, go take a really hot shower for a half hour. Don't dry off and put your clothes on. That's what it's like in Virginia and Maryland right now.
Oh.
It's so hot.
Oh.
I can confirm, but my place of business is a constant 70 with low humidity, so I don't mind it.
Nice.
Also, guys, a big happy birthday to Sam. His
Really?
birthday was a couple days ago.
When's your birthday, bud? What day?
August 15th.
Mine's the 10th.
Nice. August birthday.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah, we're the best. Just ask us.
He's a ripe old age of 20 now.
I'm already having a regular midlife crisis.
Yeah, he's approaching middle age.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I remember when you were born. I actually was hanging out at the house there waiting for you to be born. I finally had to go back to school, so I had to leave.
Then he showed
waited.
up.
A little knucklehead waited on me, so I wasn't there. But all right, here you go. Are you ready? Are you ready for a question?
Yeah, let's have it.
Okay, gun trivia on another episode of Stump My Nephew. So this is from Scott in Carlsbad. Scott is going to get a T-shirt because we used his question. So if you have a good trivia question that's gun-related, send it to us, and we'll give you a shirt if we use it. And if you stump my nephew, Sam the Gunman, we will include a San Diego County Gun Owners hat as well. So Scott from Carlsbad said that some of the earliest rifles used, some of the earliest repeating rifles used cylinders like a revolver as a way to make them repeating rifles. That was discontinued. They didn't do many of them. They stopped doing them pretty quickly. He wants to know if you know why they stopped using cylinders in rifles to make them repeating.
All right. Thanks for the question, Scott. That's a really interesting one that not a lot of people think about. So if everyone who has shot a revolver, think back to, or like even better, if you've seen slow motion video of someone shooting a revolver, you can see that in that tiny, like hair's width gap between the front of the cylinder and the forcing cone in the back of the barrel, there's this flash. You get some of that burning powder escaping through the sides, and it gives you this what's called gap flash. And so if you've got a really long barrel, like on a rifle, then you can actually lose a significant amount of velocity through that cylinder gap.
Yeah. Well, I was laughing because I can't believe that you got it right. Awesome job. That's exactly right. It's begin
Gap flash.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't even know. I never
heard of it.
I got to tell you, Lance, I don't know if everybody that listens to this, I don't really. I wish they knew how amazing this was because I don't prep him at all.
Right.
I mean, this question.
Gap flash.
Yeah, this question came out of nowhere.
Dave, have you heard of gap flash?
Yeah,
Gap flash.
And he nailed it, right?
He nailed it. Nailed it.
All right, so here's a
You know
bonus.
why? That's because he's a Leo. Okay, I rest my case. Very job well done.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a bonus fact for you guys.
Okay.
Oh.
That gap flash, incidentally, is also the reason why it is almost, not completely, but almost impossible to effectively sound suppress a revolver because you're still getting a lot of burning powder escaping through that gap, so you still get a loud report.
That's exactly right.
Gap flash.
And
Blame it on that, Dave.
Hey, and it's not even loud noise. It's report.
Yeah. I know.
Where did that word come from? Why do you call that a report?
Okay, here, let me rephrase that. Gun have hole, go bang.
Okay, I was just double checking. I wasn't just going any farther than that.
That's amazing. So there you go. Gap. Also one of my favorite '80s bands, Gap Flash. I don't know if you remember their. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, and last but not
Gap
least,
band.
because of you, I haven't done it yet. I haven't pulled the trigger,
So to speak.
because I do all the grocery shopping in my family. I walk by the dairy case and I look at chocolate milk every time I've been. I haven't pulled the trigger. Because if I remember correctly, I love that stuff. So I just want to let you know I think about you.
And is our man, Sam, are you doing a podcast yet?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. You'll keep us posted.
Well, let us know when you do, and we'll promote the heck out of it for you.
Chocolate milk, the official drink of.
But doesn't that sound
Stump My
good right
Nephew.
now? A nice ice cold glass of chocolate milk.
There you
Well,
go. Sam the Gunman.
Yeah, he's 20 years old now.
Champions, man. It's bulking season.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's bulking season.
I know.
Love
All
your
right.
show, man.
Take care, buddy. It's always good talking to you.
Good job, Sam.
A pleasure as always. Have a good night.
You too. All right.
Where did that
I
come
don't
from?
even know. It's not from you.
Gap
Kid's 20
flash.
years old.
It's not from your family.
It's not. Yeah, kid's 20 years old. I don't know how he got that. It's something you really kind of have to think through too. That's not the 1911 was invented in 1911. I mean, it's something you kind of have to.
It makes you think that all he's ever done for the first what? How old is he?
Well, he just turned 20.
Okay, for the first 20 years. Okay, we'll give him 15 years of his life. He's done nothing but read about guns.
Yeah.
I know it's not true.
Yeah.
But golly, I mean and I'm not bragging,
He's a smart
and
kid.
I'm comparing.
He definitely got my brains.
But when I was a little kid,
too bad he didn't get my looks.
I could name every single car on the road.
Yeah.
Right down to the year. And if I see a car with a dent in the fender, 5 years later, if I see that same car, I'll remember it. It's just like yesterday.
Oh, now they all look like a suppository.
Well, there's that too.
Hey, and real quick before we close up, and so you guys, we've talked about the metrics of with San Diego County gun owners and doubling up, and so we're trying to win these small races and larger races and whatever, school boards, water boards, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You got 5,000 people running, only 2,000 probably voters. Out of that, 20% of the people vote. You only have 400 votes. And if we got a horse in the race, they only need 201. We got a few San Diego County gun owners. It's a real big deal, ladies and gentlemen, to join San Diego County gun owners. If you're already a member, we love you to death. Please just get one person. Get a family member, friend, coworker. Just get one person this month. This is what we need. We're coming into voting season. Mikey's working hard. He puts out that voter's guide, and it just works.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a fundraiser? Why don't we have a competition?
This is all we got to do. Everyone
Let's have a competition.
You know what?
Whoever gets the most.
We just need one.
Bring the most. No, I want the most.
I get that.
We'll take them to dinner.
We'll do
take
that
them out
next.
on
But I
the
think
harbor.
all of us could just get one. That's all we have to do. All of us could just get one, Dave.
Yeah, I can't tell you how important.
Just one.
We just our Facebook page. If you go on our Facebook page, we just posted a picture of some women who decided to go protest yesterday. They spent their Saturday afternoon protesting guns on the mean streets of Encinitas.
Yeah.
And,
Encinitas.
All dressed up, doing their lattes.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and my first thought was, do they care more about taking your rights away than you care about keeping your rights?
Mm-hmm.
And I use that picture as a call to action. It's time to get involved. If you've been lurking on the Facebook page and seeing,
The guy that just asked the question about his gun, he sent me a text.
Yep.
And I asked him if he's joined yet. And he says, no, I'm thinking about it.
No, this is how we organize.
No.
And then, we talked about the orange shirts and all that, and Mike rightfully said so. You know what? We're not orange shirt people.
No,
but
we
we
don't.
are activists.
There you go.
And this is what everybody can do. That's it.
Yeah.
Become a member, show up.
How do they do
Please.
it?
There you go.
How do they do
San Diego County Gunowners.com. San Diego County Gunowners.com.
Come with us. Show the bad guys that we're in charge, not them.
Oh, boy, I like that
There you
one.
go.
Put that on a shirt.
We are, man.
Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Put this on a shirt.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.